All right, welcome back to the Tool World Podcast. I'm your host, David Jun. I'm here with Master Jew.
Hello there, Mr. Jew.
Yes, I got quite an interesting topic for you today.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting.
It's always interesting.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Today we're going to talk about the ArcHand.
Oh, ArcHand. That is interesting. We don't talk about that too
No,
much.
we don't talk about it too often.
Well, there's a lot of techniques we don't talk about.
Right. Can you go over what the ArcHand is?
Well, the ArcHand is, those that are listening, how do you describe it, right?
Oh, you gotta...
It's the web of where your thumb and your finger is basically, that's the ArcHand. Obviously, on your video, you can kind of see where that is.
Yeah.
That's the ArcHand.
Right.
Like if you're holding a pistol, the web of your hand that grips up to the beaver tail.
Yeah.
That would be kind of your ArcHand.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Not that everyone shoots a gun, but
They might in the Midwest.
they might in the Midwest, right? ArcHand maybe for like the U-shaped block.
Right.
How come we don't call that an ArcHand?
That's a good question.
It's a U-shaped block instead.
Yeah, that is interesting. All right, so what do we utilize the ArcHand for, though? So we have a couple different variations. You have things like a rising block
With the ArcHand.
or in Quebec you have like the double ArcHand, high
ArcHand.
block with a double ArcHand.
Right.
So let's go ahead and we'll start with the simple ones. The
How about
rising.
the one in Kodong.
Oh, and then we have strikes
Strikes with
with
the
the
ArcHand.
ArcHand, right? Or Zhongjang, it's like the strike in
I would probably throw in the U-shaped block.
and the U-shaped block. Okay.
I'm going to throw that one in there.
So why
we
would
don't
we
say that though, do we?
No, we don't. But why
U-shaped
would we
block.
choose the ArcHand versus like another tool?
I think the application might be a little bit different for each.
Okay, let's start with
you're
attacking.
about, right?
Right. How is that utilizing the ArcHand?
I like in Kodong.
Yeah.
Or Juche. That one is an inward strike with the ArcHand. And I kind of see it in, I teach it in our self-defense. It's like you're striking someone's throat.
Right.
Very dangerous, right? It could, if you break that, that's not a good thing
Right.
for that person. And also in some ways, I kind of also utilize it as from an application point of view, because I think that's what you're asking about, is you're striking and maybe grabbing. So, so if I struck someone's throat, I could, crush it, could grab their arm, right? And I kind of think that, we look at U-shaped block as well. That's really, you're kind of using that ArcHand part of the hand. And so you're like grabbing, and so you're blocking and grabbing, although that seems a little dangerous because, try to block with that and you miss and there could go your thumb.
Right.
Ooh, dislocated or whatever. But you just practice so much that it's going to be right on.
Yeah.
So when I kind of think of like U-shaped block, I know this isn't about the U-shaped block, but I kind of think of it as I anticipate their striking. So I quickly used a U-shaped block and I grabbed it, right?
Right.
Grab the technique. Rising block with the ArcHand, you could do that. That's maybe a downward kick with coming at you, and you could do that.
Right.
Would you do that?
I don't know if with the web in my hand, maybe with
So then that's different, right?
Palm,
That's a different technique. So sometimes we don't use techniques. In theory, you could probably do that.
Right.
Maybe someone that has like a bat, when we're talking about application, why we do that. And he's coming, it's a strike that's coming towards your forehead and you didn't want to, you could use the outer form, the rising block. Rising blocks are basically protecting the head, right? And so maybe someone has like a hammer.
Okay.
And he's starting to swing and it's coming down, but I used the ArcHand, rising block with the ArcHand, and I intercepted his arm so that I don't get hit, and then I could grab it. So that would be, to me, I think that's
more of the use case of
right
that? Okay.
for those particular technique. Now, when we're looking at the
double ArcHand.
ArcHand, we're not really utilizing per se that ArcHand part. I mean, I get it, and I've seen how do we form that double ArcHand, and it's kind of like if you were my opponent, I could put my hand on your shoulder like this, like on the outside, and the other hand on top of your shoulder, and then I could utilize that as a way to deflect you. And that's kind of what that high double ArcHand is if you look at the applications.
I think the application shows something getting thrown at them, like a
Right.
pot.
Like a pot, yeah. Whoa! And I kind of think of, like in that particular pattern, that's why you don't have the sine wave, that down, up, down, because it's more of a reflex.
Yeah.
So you just kind of bring your hand up, and it's like a flinch in a way, and both hands come up. That's kind of the way I look at it. That's why we don't go down, up, down, and we don't need that power. We're just deflecting it. Yeah, can you imagine? So that'd be your spouse.
Throwing a pot at you.
Good thing I did taekwondo.
All right, let's take it away from application and we'll look at the pattern for the double arcane because I think that's interesting. So you said that we don't do sine wave,
Right.
but we still get the hip involved, or is it just arm movement?
I think it is a pattern, right? And so we want to utilize the training secrets or the fundamental ideas of how to create power in patterns. So you've got to get the hip involved. You got to, but there is no typical sine wave because we're in a walking stance where typically we would bring the back heel up and down. But this is, like I said, it's a reflex. And so, and if you look at the photo, he's also moving away. So he's moving, the upper body's moving away. And but in order to do that, you also kind of have this hip rotation going on, where let's say I'm in left walking stance, my right hip has to push out, and then my hand pushes out, right?
Okay.
But it's more of a reflex kind of, to me.
Right.
It's like if I threw something at somebody, what do most people do? They don't go sine wave. They just bring their hand up, or they move their head. They move their away from them.
Right.
I think it's mostly a block that allows you to grab. That's a good way to. I think that's what it is.
To you.
Put you in that position.
Okay. Which is why you might do it instead of doing like outer form, knife hand.
Right. Kind of like U-shaped blocks.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Why would I do that specific? I could, if someone had a bow staff, and I guess I could block with my outer form.
Right.
Two of them at the same time. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet. We don't have a pattern like that.
Looks like a little karate there. Anyways, let us know you guys' thoughts on the ArcHand. As always, don't forget to be safe.
Keep training.
We'll see you guys next time.
Taekwondo.